When people think of free radical design, the first thing they'll think of is Time Splitters. They're a series of fast-paced comedic shooters. Time Splitters is one of the most iconic shooters from the 6th generation, but there was another game they made during the 2000s that mixed psychic powers with stealth. That game being Second Sight. Second Sight was a departure from Time Splitters. It wasn't a time travel adventure starring Vin Diesel's goofy cousin, but a third-person action stealth game starring an amnesiac with psychic powers. Second Sight began life as a PS2 launch title, but it was pushed back because it wouldn't be ready in time for the console's release. Time Splitters ended up in its place, though the team still worked away on Second Sight in addition to Time Splitters 2. When Second Sight released in 2004, it was met with good reviews but poor sales. It didn't help it was released a few months after Midway's own psychic shooter, PsyOps: The Mindgate Conspiracy. Growing up, I always knew about Time Splitters, but didn't know about Second Sight. It wasn't until I started spending more time on the internet that I discovered the game and its cult status. With the recent announcement of Free Radical's closure, I figured now was the time to finally play Second Sight to see what the fuss is all about, and to pay my respects to a talented studio no longer with us.
What you got there? Sheesh, is this guy a mess or what?
John Vatic wakes up in a research facility with no clue of who he is or why he's in captivity. It doesn't take long for him to escape, find some clues, then a way out. While Vatic tries to discover the truth, the game flashes back 6 months to when him and the Special Forces Squad Winter Ice were sent to Siberia. They're there to find Viktor Grenko, a Russian scientist who was doing research on parapsychology. Turns out Silas Hansen, head of the NSC, wants to steal Grenko's research and use it to create psychic super soldiers.
Where are they now?
They've gone into the storm drain, sir. There's only one way out. My men have it covered.
Well, Dr. Vatic. Seems I may have underestimated you.
Second Sight's web of intrigue and flashback flash-forward structuring give the story a lot of depth. Its mature story is a far cry from Time Splitter's wacky hijinks. The plot keeps you guessing as Vatic learns more about his past and what happened to his former comrades. His instability only adds to the uncertainty. Is he a killer, or has he been wrongfully accused? While the story reads like a telekinetic version of The Bourne Identity, the well-written dialogue and pacing had me wondering what was going on.
Classified? I don't get this.
Vatic starts the game as a clueless nobody, but by the end he's on a mission to clear himself and stop Hansen. I won't spoil the game's big twist, other than I'll say it was a great aha moment that paid everything off.
I know who she is. She's a mystic. She's a fake.
The only area I think the story stumbles is the choice system, or lack thereof. The back of the box touts how decisions you make in the past impact the present, but it's just marketing fluff. In the game there are enigmas, which are special game over cutscenes that play if you die during the flashbacks or kill your teammates. When this happens, Vatic wakes up in captivity with a mysterious voice questioning his actions before the scene fades out. While I like the idea and concept, in execution, it's smoke and mirrors. Because it only happens if you get a game over, it's easy to miss most of the Enigma cutscenes. I think they missed a good opportunity to include some sort of morality system where the decisions you make determine if Vatic is a killer or not. While his morality is brought into question early on, it becomes less prominent as the story progresses.
John? John, my God, you're alive.
Colonel?
I thought you'd been killed. With the others in Dubransk.
What do you mean, with the others?
Second Sight is a third-person stealth action title. Instead of gunning down enemies like in Time Splitters, you'll sneak past guards and use your abilities to complete objectives. Second Sight takes a methodical approach to psychic powers. While you can throw people around with telekinesis, the focus is less on causing chaos and more about playing smart with your abilities.
This is incredible. How did I end up being able to do this? What the hell am I?
After John wakes up, he's able to use telekinesis and shortly thereafter gets the ability to heal himself. More abilities are unlocked as you progress, including projection, charm, and a psychic energy blast. Each gets an upgrade at a point in the story. For example, telekinesis initially only lets you grab and manipulate objects, but later you'll receive an upgrade that lets you grab people.
You guys don't know who you're messing with.
Vadic's abilities are powerful but must be used wisely. While you can use your powers to brute force through enemies, doing so will only bring more and more reinforcements that will eventually overwhelm you. It's much better, and much smarter, to use your powers to sneak by them. You can use Charm to walk around unseen, or use Astral Projection to possess a guard and complete your objectives while you stay out of sight. The abilities and the level design complement each other. There's a point A and a point B, and it's up to the player to decide how they'll reach the next point.
Thanks. How come you delivering today? You're not one of the Vipers.
Let's just say I'm a friend of a friend, and I'm helping out.
As much as I love the mental powers, some of them are a bit broken. Charm is particularly powerful because it makes Vadic invisible. As long as he's not caught on camera, he's a-okay. Combine Charm with a generous recharge rate, and you can sneak around without breaking a sweat.
Oh, don't look over here. Don't look over here, don't look.
For a studio primarily known for its first-person action, they know how to make a damn good stealth game. Like any stealth game, taking it slow and staying out of sight are essential for survival. Levels are populated with enemies and security cameras that'll spot you if you make a wrong move. You can use your abilities to manipulate the environment to your advantage. For example, you can use telekinesis to disable security cameras or manipulate an object. Some levels give Vadic a tranquilizer gun, which lets you knock out targets without getting your hands dirty. A well-placed headshot will make them go night-night, though it takes a couple if you aim at the body. While I'm glad the game gives you non-lethal options, the tranquilizer gun, like Charm, is overpowered. It has infinite ammo so you can tranquilize to your heart's content. Plus, enemy bodies disappear after a minute or so you don't have to worry about hiding them unless someone stumbles upon them before they disappear.
Sleep, motherfucker!
The lack of balancing means it's possible to charm and tranquilize through most of the encounters. Luckily, there are several missions that make good use of your other powers. The Insane Asylum and New York levels are a particular highlight, with the latter seeing Vadic complete tasks for the level's assorted gang members to find someone he's looking for.
I can rely on her. Can I rely on you?
Yeah, I'm okay now.
Second Sight might be a stealth game, but you'll do your fair bit of shooting in addition to sneaking. These segments mainly occur during the flashbacks and are a nice change of pace. You'll use pistols, shotguns, assault rifles, and my personal favorite, the sniper rifle. I don't know why, but I love the sort of second-person perspective you get when you aim down the scope. Vadic's perspective remains third-person, but now you have the scope sight in the bottom right corner aiming down on the enemy.
No more trouble from him.
Second Sight is a clever take on the stealth genre. The mixture of well-designed stealth and level design makes sneaking around satisfying. Every stage is a mini sandbox, giving the player various options and tools for tackling objectives. However, like a mental patient, it does have a few screws loose. The stealth and shooting are solid, but the platforming isn't. Vadic takes forever to climb up ledges or shimmy along walls. Sometimes it's a guessing game of whether or not Vadic will grab a ledge or fall to his death. The camera can also be annoying. You have the option to switch between third person and first person, which is fine, but they also let you switch to a fixed camera perspective as well. While first person is great for better lining up your shots, the fixed angles only make it harder to see where enemies are.
What am I doing here?
You're here to change things for the better, John.
What things?
My last critique is the boss fights, or lack thereof. I think they missed a great opportunity to have some psychic versus psychic action, but all you get is a weak sauce fight with a few psychic soldiers. The final boss is very disappointing, as all you do is fight off waves of soldiers while freeing the imprisoned test subjects.
Was that another villager?
Yes, this would be so much easier if they hadn't found out about us shipping all this research junk out of here.
Junk. Ha! The villagers aren't coming to visit test tubes and Bunsen burners.
Even though this game is unrelated to Time Splitters, you can see that franchise's influence all over the presentation. The art style is a mixture of stylized and realistic, with exaggerated looking characters occupying real-world locations like insane asylums and government offices. I also like many of the little details that are peppered in. If you try logging onto a computer without knowing the password, Vatic will try and fail to log in. The computers themselves have that Windows 99 aesthetic, right down to the screensavers and menu layout.
What was Hansen's username again? Oh yeah.
The voice acting is good, but the real MVP is the music. Composed by Time Splitters composer Graham Norgett, the music is a great mixture of ambient and action-packed themes, with the music in Siberia and the insane asylum being a particular highlight.
This is a masterpiece. First repeatable results in psychic phenomena. Can your mind grasp the implications?
Second Sight is the thinking man's psychic game. Where games like Psyops and Control mixed action with psychic powers, Second Sight takes a nuanced approach. It's less about how much power you can unleash with your mind, and more about using your mind to solve problems.
Damn fine work, Vatic.
Backing up the stellar gameplay is a solid story of deception and intrigue. As John Vatic pieces back together his mind, he uncovers the truth. Psychic stories tend to lean towards the schlocky side, but Second Sight takes a grounded approach, and it works. The game may be 20 years old, but it's aged well, for the most part. As enjoyable as the stealth is, it's a bit on the easy side thanks to some OP weapons and abilities. You'll become such a sharpshooter with the tranquilizer gun that it almost makes the other weapons pointless. The keyword being almost. There's also a couple of tedious escort sections, but the majority of the game still holds up.
And you are?
John Vatic.
Second Sight is what happens when a studio uses their expertise in one genre to branch out into another. I love games like Psyops or The Force Unleashed where you get to go all out with your mind and wreak havoc. But Second Sight's more restrained and methodical approach is a step above the physics mayhem one normally expects in a game like this. Second Sight is one of the 6th generation's unsung heroes, and a great showcase of Free Radical's potential beyond the FPS genre. Second Sight gets an 8 out of 10.